Who killed Tupac and Biggie? And I think both of these dudes were assassinated in some kind of way. More Biggie than Tupac. I think Tupac might have got killed by a dude that they, had an incident with earlier that day. But Biggie's seems a little
JFK.
Governmental.
You are aware that a lot of seasoned players will not budge from their conviction over whether or not he made fun of Tupac. But at this point, everything's a total disaster because there's not enough credible proof, an unreliable witness in the Keefe D, and, of course, Diddy's multi-billion-dollar legal team. But keep going. Some of the originals are starting to surface, and Ice Cube has been dropping hints about who Tupac walked for a while now. As you can see, Diddy now projects the image of an untouchable man who is well-versed in the music business, has accumulated wealth from gifted musicians, and likes throwing bizarre parties for his friends in his mansion tucked away in the hills. However, Keefe D's most recent arrests suggest that Diddy's life might end suddenly. So while Keefe is ready for his trial, the prosecution is still hunting for evidence nonstop. Despite everything, Diddy conveys the sense that nothing can ever get to him when he is recording a gospel album with Tiana Taylor. However, it's critical to keep in mind that Diddy has a dubious past and routinely evades punishment. But it seems like his luck might be changing. Ice Cube, Eminem, and 50 Cent are the ones that are openly discussing Diddy and the potential that he was behind the hit on Pac. Pac's life was thus profoundly affected by his chance meeting with Ice Cube. In other words, Cube served as his mentor. Although it wasn't a big, dramatic event, he acted as a sort of mentor to Tupac at the time, and it had a big impact on Tupac's growth as an artist. Since they were both young, black males trying to make their place in what looked to be an increasingly hostile environment, they could relate to one another. Even as his fame grew, Tupac never forgot the impact Ice Cube made on his life and career. We would frequently discuss how Ice Cube inspired him and how Cube gave him the self-assurance to be authentic and express his thoughts. But let's be honest, you already know, without a doubt, that Tupac followed his passion, and by making the music he truly wanted to make, became one of the greatest and most influential musicians of all time. He emerged from the digital underworld in 1991 with his first solo smash, Tupacalypse Now. As a follow-up, he published Me Against the World and Strictly from Anip. However, things truly took off when he released his debut single, All Eyes on Me, on Death Row Records. All Eyes on Me.
But as far as me, I felt like I always belonged on Death Row. Just was a matter of getting me there. Now that I'm there, mark my words, Death Row is a force to be reckoned with in this business. I promise you, no artist will outsell us. Nobody will touch us in the movie business. Ain't nobody hard as us. Ain't nobody real as us. Ain't nobody us.
The first double-disc solo hip-hop CD album is a historical document. Having sold more than 75 million records worldwide, Tupac became a household name and cultural phenomenon. All Tupac did was return the favor that Cube had shown him. One of the Death Row record artists, Snoop Dogg, was greatly influenced by Pac, who helped him develop his own sound. In an interview, Dogg's father even went so far as to imply that he got his fame know-how from his former partner on the Death Row label, who inspired him to establish his own pimp character and fashion sense. In the midst of all of this, Ice Cube was producing films in Hollywood thanks to John Singleton's iconic film Boys in the Hood. It's funny because, at first, Cube didn't seem to be all that into movies. At the time of all of this, Tupac was beginning to get some traction in the film industry even before his music career really took off. In 1991's Nothing But Trouble, he starred in his first significant motion picture role. Then, in 1992, he made his big screen debut in Juice, a movie that won praise from critics for casting him as the fictional Bishop. But Ice Cube and Tupac didn't cross paths again until 1993. And when they did, it was to discuss movies rather than music. It's interesting since Tupac replaced Ice Cube after the rapper decided to no longer fulfill the role of poetic justice. As everyone knows, the movie went on to become a cult favorite. You might say that Tupac and Cube's lives were partly interwoven at that point. Their paths were connected, and their stories have things in common. But when Tupac sided with Suge Knight, especially after the Quad Studio shooting, which he attributed to Biggie, things went south. Tupac gained notoriety as a vicious thug after being signed to Death Row Records following his release. He gave it his all. He suddenly broke off his conversation about politics and started rapping about it, as if he had accidentally fallen into the lifestyle of a con artist. Pac had transformed to such an extent that not even Q could recognize the old Pac. Hit 'Em Up was well known for being incredibly disagreeable, polarizing, and uncomfortable. This song made Ice Cube's song about his NWA group, No Baseline, sound like a melancholy ballad since it was so full of venom for Biggie, Puffy, and the entire East Coast scene.
Even when he played Hit 'Em Up the song, I didn't like the song.
Did you feel like it was
I didn't
too
like
much?
it. Right. I didn't like it. I didn't like shit. It wasn't like the shit to me. It was you buying more problems, cuz. You're buying problems.
Biggie was a little irritated, at least that's what he said, when Puff accidentally revealed to everyone that he had slept with the singer Faith Evans. Puff was in the same boat, looking astonished. He denied being involved in any way with the Quad Studio filming, but it was too late now. The words had been said, and it was too late to take them back. Already, the damage was done. Tupac's song effectively tore a hole in the NWA, but Ice Cube's diss track might have been the tipping point. Judging by all the indicators, Puffy was the reason behind Tupac's demise. That is known to all. But in the end, Suge takes part of the blame, since Suge allowed Pac to release that song, which shocked the East Coast and effectively made Suge a dead man. Suge bears some of the guilt for Pac's passing. 3 months before his own death, he was walking. Tupac and Suge Knight were late-night drivers of a black BMW on September 7, 1996. Things started to go wrong when they were sat at a red light near the Las Vegas Strip with Honcho at Death Row Records. Then a white caddy pulled in, and everything went crazy. Sadly, Tupac did not survive the gun rampage after being shot multiple times. He was only 25 years old. Keefe D's memoir, which was published after his release from jail and indictment for Tupac's killing, detailed everything. The truth was revealed by Keefe D, who rode shotgun and had a firearm hidden in the back seat of the Cadillac, where he thinks the shooting came from. Orlando Little Lane Keefe accused his nephew Anderson of being one of the men in the backseat and singled him out for the shooting. Due to their close relationship, Tupac and Anderson got into a quarrel at a casino prior to the shooting. Anderson died 2 years after Tupac, although Anderson has always maintained that he had nothing to do with Tupac's death. Despite being shot fragmented that evening, Shu only had minor injuries since the lawyers who had previously defended him were no longer practicing. But for a different kind of crime, he was already sentenced to 28 years in prison in California. Greg Kading, a retired LAPD investigator who wrote a book about Tupac and conducted a lot of research on the rapper, was not shocked by Keefe's arrest. He claimed that Keefe nearly forced his way into the situation and provided the Vegas police with just what they wanted. Kading also foresaw this murder charge because of Keefe's candid remarks. He believes Keefe was always involved in the scheme. Ever since Keefe was imprisoned and awaiting his tryout, there have been a lot of rumors circulating the neighborhood. Given that Keefe has frequently mentioned the rapper in interviews and even in his book, many people believe he is blaming Diddy for the situation. Due to Diddy's conduct, many people, possibly even Ice Cube, might even believe that Keefe orchestrated the hit on Potts. We now know that Diddy put a bounty on Potts' head. That was when everything started to go wrong. Keefe would also incriminate Diddy and give the police previously unreleased evidence because he was upset that Diddy had planned the drive-by hit.
Shit, he said he'd give us anything for them dudes there, you know? Yeah.
We'll give you anything for these guys' head.
Yeah, he said it in front of all the people. I couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying?
In Anaheim?
Yeah. Whole room full of Crips.
So this is after Jake got killed?
So he was on point. He was worried about something happening.
Yeah.
She got mouthed off about a bunch of different stuff, so he was scared. It was
Yeah, he was scared to death, yeah. Yeah, we were on the million.
You said you walked downstairs. Did he say, come meet me downstairs?
Yeah, he said, come on downstairs and talk to you.
Oh.
He tells you, seriously, man, I need to get rid of these guys. And he's looking at you in the eyes and he's like scared.
Yeah.
Diddy received a sharp warning from Betty Sint to act cautiously. Betty Sint felt obliged to express her thoughts on Instagram following the release of Keefe D's transcript. The woman wrote on social media, "Damn, so Pac got lined by a brother love. I recognize. You should get legal advice. It might get sticky." He then added a picture of Tupac operating the recognizable black BMW. That same one from that infamous night in Vegas after the Mike Tyson fight in 1996, when Tupac was shot. There is no doubt that Bad Boy Records employees were involved. But the key question remains, can they actually pull it off, even if they ruin Diddy's reputation? Ever since he rose to fame, Diddy seems to have been the Teflon Don. It seems that he had conned everyone he had ever done business with. It appears like he was born with that kind of talent. How in the world is Diddy going to stop himself from making jokes about the cops when the chips are down? His prior behavior has shown us that he chooses competent legal counsel. Maybe he could get away with hitting Pac the way 50 suggested. How do you feel about Pac and this cube? What further details about Diddy's involvement with the Pac hit do you believe the cube may hold? Let us know what you think down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, share it with a friend or two,